So have you ever wondered how some people just always seem to have enough money for everything they need to do in their life, and they're not like living paycheck to paycheck, they're not using their credit cards for everything, but they are just using cash, and they don't even necessarily have to have some high-paying job, but they always seem to have their money together, and you're like, yo, how are they doing this? I don't know for certain, but I could probably guess they're using something like a sinking fund. Even if they're not calling it a sinking fund, they are definitely strategically saving money on a regular basis for the large purchases they have to make in their life. And that is what we call a sinking fund. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you today about, what they are, how you can start one, where you can put the money, etc. So stick around and take lots of notes. Hi everyone, this is Camilla, the Focus Spender, and welcome to my channel. On my channel, I teach you how to get out of debt, save more money, and invest so that you can build wealth and leave a lasting legacy. So like I said, the purpose of this video is to talk about sinking funds, and I've been using sinking funds for years. I learned about sinking funds in grad school because it's actually a business concept that personal finance gurus have taken on to use in the personal finance space. It's a strategic mechanism to save money every single month or every single paycheck for a large purchase that you have to make in the future. So I have to be honest, now that we are coming out of quarantine, I actually have to start up my sinking funds again. For the last year, I just stopped because I figured I'm putting all this money into my sinking funds for vacations, for gifts, and I wasn't buying a thing. But now that I'm going back out again, I definitely want to have money in my sinking funds because I'm going to need it more. I'm going to need that money again. So when you're thinking of sinking funds, you might be wondering, well, what am I even saving for? What large purchases do I have coming up? My life is very simple. And I'm telling you right now, no matter who you are, you definitely have multiple reasons to save in advance. You can save for that car that you know you're going to have to replace in the next 2 to 3 years. If you celebrate Christmas, you may want to set aside money so that you can have money for your gifts. Maybe you want to go on that vacation next year. Maybe you're turning 30 or 35 or 45, whatever you're turning. You may say, this is the year I'm going to take this fabulous trip. I need to set aside money for that. Maybe you're going to buy a house. Maybe you have a child that has crooked teeth and they're going to need braces, and you're going to need $1,000 or $1,500 in the next 8 months to pay for those braces. Whatever you can think of, you can create a sinking fund for it. You may also be thinking, well, why not just put my money in my savings account, and why do I have to separate it out? And that's because savings accounts are usually just used for general savings. If you have a large pot of money, but you have several things that you know you're saving for, and you start spending down the money in your savings account, you may not be aware if you're holding on to enough money for the specific things that you know are coming up. So instead, you want to have your specific sinking funds for the specific items in your life that you have to save for. Well, you might also be thinking, well, I have my savings account and I have an emergency fund. Why can't I just pull the money from the emergency fund? Because none of the things that I've listed are emergencies. If I say that you're saving for a car, you're not going to up and say, oh my God, I didn't know I needed a car for the last 3 years. It's not an emergency. You know, if you're saving for Christmas, Christmas is definitely not an emergency. We know when it's coming every single year like clockwork. So you want to leave your emergency fund for your emergencies. Now, where can you keep your money for your sinking funds? So you have a couple of options. You can keep it in the bank. I use Capital One. Capital One will allow you to create multiple savings accounts within your account. I think I have about 8 different savings accounts within my Capital One. I know that you can also do something very similar with Ally Bank. Instead of opening multiple savings accounts within Ally, you can segment your savings accounts into buckets so that you can say, okay, technically I have this one $10,000 savings account, but these slices are for very specific purposes, and then you can track your money that way. I've not used Ally, so I cannot give you a tutorial on that, but I know that is a feature that they have. You can also save it in cash. I am not a cash lover. I tend to be a little bit more loosey-goosey when I have cash, but lots of people will use envelopes, and it's called the envelope system, and every single month or every single time they get paid, they will take cash and put it into various envelopes that they have for specific purposes. One thing I would say is that you don't want to keep your money in an investment account for your sinking funds. You don't want to do that because these are short-term savings goals and you don't want to risk any of that money. So you want to make sure your money is in something that's very safe and secure. I have a free spreadsheet that you can use that will help you create and track the sinking funds that you need. So let's just look at my spreadsheet so you can see exactly what I mean. So in this example, I'm saying that I'm saving for my vacation and I'm putting $100 a month and my goal is $2,000. So now it will just calculate that it will take 20 pay cycles for me to save that $2,000. So if I have another one, I can put in that I'm saving for a car. This one might take a lot longer and I want to do $200 per paycheck and I want to save $15,000. It's going to take me 75 pay cycles. Let's just divide that by 4 or by 2. So that'll take about 3 years to save $15,000. So it's just a very easy to use spreadsheet, nothing fancy. At the bottom, you can track exactly how much you're saving per paycheck every single time you get money, and then you can track your totals. But you can also see that in your bank account. You can also see that in your actual cash envelope, whatever you want to do. But if you want to download this tracker, it is in the description box below. You can print it out and write in your numbers that way as opposed to using the spreadsheet. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to share it with anyone that you think will find it useful, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.